Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you and share the news with you, my fine patriots. By the way, I just saw a comment by Susan Ferner I wanted to address really quickly. She said, we have an anti-Israel protest here in Salt Lake City this morning, 200 plus protesters and growing. This is all part of what this stream is about, dealing with the anti-Israel protests, the protests in general. We've seen this theme before, but they have a new target, a new way of doing things. So welcome to the show. Please do smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from, folks. And do check out my sponsor, Midas Gold Group. That's MidasGoldGroup.com. And you can text them at text Lumberjack to 232425 to receive free silver with qualifying order, or call them at 480-360-3000. Whether or not you want graded coins like this Morgan silver dollar that's graded from 1886, whether you want just basic silver eagle bullion type coins, the rounds, or whether you want to get some silver eagle proofs like this, it's all there. They're veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. Folks, get yourself some real money. That's just fiat currency. All right, so this is wild. I'm going to just get this show rolling right away. We are going to pull in right here. So we're going to start with this. Ilhan Omar said a sitting senator labels Americans protesting against a foreign country accused of carrying out a genocide funded with our tax dollars as terrorists. It puts a target on their back to be attacked. This is insanely dangerous, and somehow no one will condemn it. This is Ilhan Omar, the gal who shouldn't even be there because, the ballots in the back of the car, her brother, all this stuff. Okay, you guys know the story. Senator Marsha Blackburn, this is a tweet that upset her so much. Any student who has promoted terrorism or engaged in terrorist acts on behalf of Hamas should be immediately added to the terrorist watch list and placed on the TSA no-fly list. Okay, people, she says, Americans protesting a foreign country. No, she didn't. Senator Marsha Blackburn did not say that. She said students who have promoted terrorism or engaged in terrorist acts on behalf of Hamas. Do not buy their crap, people, because this is what's going on. George Soros right now is paying student radicals who are fueling the nationwide explosion of Israel-hating protests. That's what's taking place right now, people. This is all part of his agenda. He profits off arbitrage, okay? That's what he does. That's how he's made his way in the world before, and how he will continue to do it, and how his plan to take down America, this is what it is, people, is through arbitrage, through protest, through creating division and strife. I don't know in the end what he and his son's end game is, but his son, well, I'll go down in the article. Some of you will know this from before, but as we go through this, you need to understand just what's going on here and how these hate camps are funded, okay, through his different organizations. Okay, and those of you who have followed me long enough know that I was targeted. It was part of a Soros hit piece on our band reunion shows. Before we had to go do band reunion shows, when they ran a hit piece on us, and most of my friends were wiped off of YouTube. I barely made it. And now, of course, just in case you're wondering, yes, YouTube did demonetize me. I know that's word on the street. I did a live last night, mentioned it. That's why you cannot super chat anymore or super sticker. I have been in contact with YouTube. We will see if they get that corrected. But oddly enough, it wasn't because of this channel. It was because of my channel about cows and off-grid living. I kid you not. It's pretty wild. And then they chose to demonetize this channel on top of it. It's nuts. Whatever, it's very frustrating. So I thank you for supporting the sponsors. And I thank you. And I saw somebody comment last night, I don't like you doing these sponsor ads, and I'm not going to watch you anymore. Then I almost cussed. Just go away. Just go away. I don't really care if you listen to me. Okay? If that's your attitude, go away. I mean, every major show in the nation has sponsors. Okay? They run ads. If YouTube doesn't want to run ads, and I knew that was always part of the game, those of you who follow me long enough know So you'll have to put up with some sponsor ads for Midas Gold Group and My Pillow. Oh no, can you make it? Anyways, all right. Sorry, I got a little bent there, but it is what it is. Okay, if you want to support me, you can go over to Locals, lumberjacklogic.locals.com. You can support me over there. My content is free over there. You do not have to pay for it. George Soros and his hard left acolytes are paying agitators who are fueling the explosion of radical anti-Israel protests at colleges across the country. This is the same thing with the BLM protests, with the hands up, don't shoot mantra, all of it. He spreads lies, he propagates them, he foments hate. This is Soros's game. He wants to destroy America from within. And it's not just him, it's others like him. And his son is even worse. Okay? But this is nothing new, except it's new in its delivery. Sometimes it's hard for me to title things on YouTube. I don't know exactly how, with the short amount of words you have, to get it right. So although it isn't new, it is new, if that makes sense to you. But anyways, they're paying agitators, going through these anti-Israel protests, destroying college campuses, and so on. And I want you to think back to this tweet, and I'm going to pop back to that here really quick, by Ilhan Omar, right here. Okay, so again, Marsha Blackburn is asking for students who promote terrorism or engage in terrorist acts on behalf of Hamas to be added to the terrorist watch list and placed on the TSA no-fly list. Do you realize that people who participated in J6, who were simply voicing their doubt about certain things that took place back in 2020, were put on a no-fly list, that were put on where they have to go step into private screenings? 70-year-old grandmas? Yes. Gold Star parents? Come on. Military veterans? People who've actually supported our nation by swearing an oath to uphold and defend our Constitution, they're placed on these lists. But, Ilhan Omar is so frustrated that people who support Hamas would be put on that list. It's ridiculous. Anyways, Blackburn's 100% right, Lisa. So back to this article. Keep popping in and out. Here we go. All right. The protests, which began when students took over Columbia University's Morningside Heights campus lawn last week, have mushroomed nationwide. Copycat tent cities have been set up at colleges including Harvard, Yale, Berkeley in California, the Ohio State University at Emory in Georgia, all of them organized by branches of the Soros-funded Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, and some students have clashed with police. If you do not know George Soros's Nazi past, I encourage you to look that up. And then you will understand why he's doing the things he does in some sense. But there's a deeper thing going on here. So the Israel hate camps explode, funded by Soros. You can see they're at MIT, all these Ivy League places, of course. University of Minnesota, of course. We have one of the largest Muslim populations in the U.S. Southern Cal, on and on. Texas, they're hauling them out like cattle. It's pretty wild to watch them. Look, I mean, if they're out there destroying property for no good reason, and they're unwilling to leave when confronted by the police, haul them out of there. Okay? Oh, let's move on. The SJP parent organization has been funded by a network of nonprofits, ultimately funded by, among others, Soros, the billionaire left-wing investor. Now, by the way, if you pay attention to headlines over the years, you will notice something about George Soros. They always call George Soros the conservative rights what, folks? I want to see if my chat gets this. What is the word they use to describe George Soros? All the liberal media, they will describe George Soros as conservatives blank, as the conservative blank, okay? Basically diminishing our real legitimate concerns with George Soros, how he's spending his billions here in the U.S. and how he's able to, influence the outcome of elections, influence protests and all of this. What is the word I'm looking for, though, folks? This has been in the news media time and time again. Pamela G got it right. I'm going to give her some kudos. It is boogeyman. That's right, Pamela. They always call him the conservatives boogeyman. Now, I know because I have been, I faced the George Soros ire through his publication Media Matters. which is another fake news thing. Anyways, but I feel it's an honor. I actually feel it is an honor that I did the day I saw it. I thought, wow, I've made it big time. I mean, if George Soros and his acolytes are after me through his sham organization, then I'm doing something right. At 3 colleges, the protests are being encouraged by paid radicals who are fellows of a Soros-funded group, the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Okay. U.S. CPR provides up to $7,800 for its community-based fellows and between $2,880 and $3,660 for its campus-based fellows in return for spending 8 hours a week organizing campaigns led by Palestinian organizations. People, that's good money. Look at that. 8 hours a week. And you are able to get up to $7,800 or $3,660 on 8 hours a week. Is that based on a monthly basis or a weekly basis? That's how much this means to them. See, this is why when you see how much they're willing to spend on elections and how much they're willing to spend on getting certain people elected to office, there is a return, people. They're not making this investment without expecting a return. They are trained to rise up to revolution. The radical group received at least $300,000 from Soros's Open Society Foundations since 2017 and has took in $355,000 from the Rockefeller brothers since 2019. Now, one thing you're going to notice, look at this. A lot of these are same tents. Same tents. You see this? Because the tents are provided for them. Not only are they paying them, they're providing the tents. Can you imagine the human waste and refuse at these places? It's just ridiculous. George Soros and Wall Street moguls finance radical anti-Israel groups behind campus protests at Columbia University. People are being paid. Yeah. The University of Texas Austin is one of the campuses where anti-Israel protests have exploded this week, copycatting the takeover of Columbia University's lawn. It has 3 fellows who have been major figures in the nationwide protest movement. So 3 of these people are these nationwide figures, and you see them showing up in these pictures all the time. Nita Laffey, a former president of the University of Texas Students for Justice in Palestine, was seen at an encampment at UT Dallas Wednesday, making a speech demanding an end to the war in Gaza. Laffey, a former legislative intern for late Democratic Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, graduated from the school last year with a degree in global business and is now a law student at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. What's wild about this, people, is you will see that these protesters consistently work not only for left-wing agitating groups, but for Democrats in Congress and the Senate. They've been either interns or staffers. It is wild to watch. It is always, and I am going to tell you that Republicans are not the answer. We've seen Republicans let us down. They're not the answer to our problems. But Democrats are the problem, people. I mean, if you don't understand that, if you don't understand how far the radical left has gone, this reminds me of when I shared that video of the Young Turks, and the gal on there was having a moment where she was like, oh my gosh, if this is leftism, when they're trying to defend the cashless bail and all that, she's like, I don't want a part of it. And Sank was on there. No, that's not what we signed up for. That's not what we signed up for. But it is, because they voted for the people that are enacting these policies. Those policies were voted into law by Democrats. Okay? Now, we can stop this. I don't want to leave you here hopeless. We can stop all of this. How do we do that? Well, you get involved, people. I keep telling you, locally, get involved. Get involved in your local election apparatus. I became an election judge. Become a poll washer, whatever it is. Go to your local caucuses. Get involved in the party apparatus. That's what you need to do to make these changes happen. If you don't, it won't happen. And you drag every single person you can to the polls. Come this election, you make sure Donald Trump not only wins, but that he wins with massive majorities in the House and the Senate. We need big majorities to get past the rhinos. Most rhinos reside in the reddest districts. It's the craziest conundrum that I see in politics right now, because with Democrats, it's completely different. The craziest Democrats, like Ilhan Omar, since we were just talking about her, reside in Minneapolis, one of the craziest, most liberal cockamamie cities in the world. And they elect radical leftists. Then you can go to places like Nebraska, And Don Bacon, Chief Rhino, is there. You can go out to Washington State in an entirely conservative district, and you got a Chief Rhino out there. I can go across the country. We do not get involved enough. See, Democrats do show up to caucus. Democrats do vote in primaries by a margin of 2-1. Okay, so if you're not voting in primaries, stop your whining. 2-1, they're outvoting us in primaries. They're showing up. They're getting involved in local. Do you know how many people were at my precinct caucus this last year? Do you know how many people represented my individual precinct? Me. I was the only one that showed up. You will get the government that you deserve. And you can say, I didn't vote for this. You may not have voted for this in the general election. Things may not have gone right in the general election. But there are a lot of things happening before the general election that you need to get involved with. Okay. I'm worked up, people. I'm worked up. I mean, I suppose CommuTube demonetizing me has me a little bit more worked up too. One of the things that you'll see is, and you don't feel this, like people don't, like I still run into people on the street who don't even believe that censorship is real. I kid you not. Okay. And they're like, oh, I'd kind of heard of that, but really? You? Yeah, me. Yeah, me. Struck, demonetized, all this crap going on all the time. And what is it that I'm doing that's so dangerous? Seriously, it's nuts. But this is what's going on out there. I'll tell you about a couple other of these people. Okay. Back to this article. In January, this same gal was detained for blocking the route of President Biden's motorcade after he arrived in Dallas for the funeral of Johnson, her former boss. That's this gal. That's this Laffy. Okay. She's everywhere. Okay. She's everywhere. Here, show her. Well, she's not up there. But you can see her all over the place. Then there's this guy. Craig Brickhead Morton was arrested Monday and charged with first-degree trespassing when SJP's branch Yalis for Palestine occupied the school's Bernique Plaza, the Yale Daily News reported. Brickhead Morton, also a former intern for Democrat Maryland Rep. John Sarbanes, again, another intern for Democrats. Look, I got to ask a question in the chat. I'm going to go back to it really quickly. Do you guys understand that, yes, rhinos are an issue? I get that. But that the bigger issue is Democrats? Do you guys understand that? I'm not trying to make this a Democrat versus Republican. I understand the uniparty. I understand all of it. But if you're sitting it out thinking, oh, they're both the same, you know, both parties are the same, go read the Republican Party platform. Go read the Democratic Party platform. Go to a GOP convention, go to a GOP caucus, and go to a Democrat caucus. Do you understand that Democrats are the problem? Yes or no? I'm just curious. Okay? Democrats are commies. Yeah, some of you get it. Democrats are evil. I mean, it really is. Palestinians are Hamas. Hamas runs the Palestine. Exactly. I'm so tired of, like, we're dancing around the word game. I've got a big story I got to do out of Minnesota. I hope you guys tune into that. I mean, it is a little bit more local, but I am telling you what's going on in Minnesota is national in scope. Do me a favor, please. Smash that like. Let's get this stream over 1,000 people. I understand it's not the catchiest thumbnail I've ever put together, but come on, people need to know this. Please do smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from if you just joined the stream. And do support my sponsor, Midas Gold Group, MidasGoldGroup.com. Get yourself some real money. Text Lumberjack to 232-425 or call them at 480-360-3000. Veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. Thanks, Michelle, for posting my channel that got me demonetized. My Neil of the North channel. Must be dangerous stuff over there, people. Back into the story. At Yale, Craig Brickhead, former intern. Okay, you're going to see this. It's a common theme. All these paid agitators and protesters are interns for Democrats. The most high profile of the fellows is Berkeley's Malik Afena, co-president of the Berkeley Law Students for Justice in Palestine. She's been a serial speaker. You've seen her everywhere at anti-Israel protests on the campus this week, which came after she first shot to prominence by hijacking a dinner at the law school dean's home to shout anti-Israel slogans, then accused the dean's wife of assaulting her when she asked the radical to leave. So one thing that the left has done, the Democrats have done, is they've allowed this. They are getting their own just dessert, people, okay? They're getting their own just dessert because these radicals are even coming after them. They're coming after Joe Biden because they're not radical enough. It's wild. They're showing up at people's homes. Angie Craig even had somebody show up at her home. That's a congresswoman here in Minnesota. They continue to do this because they've allowed this to get too big. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. UC Berkeley law student Malik Afena speaks to a large crowd here, okay? The cash from Soros and his acolytes has been critical to the Columbia protests that set off the national copycat demonstrations. These groups set up tent cities on Columbia's lawn last Wednesday, Students for Justice in Palestine, Jewish Voice for Peace, and Within Our Lifetime. One thing you will notice is that with the left, they understand how to market, so they do Jewish Voice for Peace. It's really not what the group is about. At the Gaza Solidarity encampments, students sleep in tents apparently ordered from Amazon and enjoy delivery pizza, coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, free sandwiches worth $12.50 from Pret a Manger, organic tortilla chips, and $10 rotisserie chickens. So they are provided tents, they are provided food, and they are provided money. On the last day of Ramadan, UC Berkeley law professor assaults Hijabi. No, she was just asked to leave. This is where the left and right can unite. Like old school liberals can unite with conservatives now, and we can elect Trump by a major majority. We should see a 70-30 election for Donald Trump. An analysis by the Post shows that all three got cash from groups linked to Soros. The Rockefeller Brothers Fund also gave cash to JVP. So think back to Rockefellers. This fund is chaired by Joseph Pearson and includes David Rockefeller Jr., a fourth-generation member of the oil dynasty, on its board of directors. The nonprofit gives money to sustainable development and peace building, but there's nothing peaceful about it. And a former Wall Street banker, Felice Gelman, a retired investment banker who's dedicated her Wall Street fortune to pro-Palestinian causes, funded all three groups. So what you are going to see here they are getting their Dunkin' Donuts, their classy sandwiches, okay? SJP called the terrorist strike on Israel a historic win. This is why I want to take you back again to Ilhan Omar's tweet. A sitting senator labels Americans protesting against a foreign country accused of carrying out a genocide funded with our tax dollars as terrorists and puts a target on their back to be attacked. This is insanely dangerous, and somehow no one will condemn it. It is not insanely dangerous. It is not even out of the realm of reason, for Senator Marshall Blackburn to say that any student who is engaged or has promoted terrorism or engaged in terrorist acts on behalf of should be immediately added to the terrorist watch list and placed on the TSA no-fly list. That is perfectly common sense, people. It's common sense. That's what George Soros is up to, people. But again, two things on this. I want a couple takeaways. One is I do believe it's working against them because America's seeing that these people are Looney Tunes. They're freaking Looney Tunes, all right? And the bulk of America doesn't want to see this. They don't want to see school campuses getting broken into, windows getting broken, and all of that going on, all in the name of terrorism, folks. Ultimately, they try to make the J6ers domestic terrorists. They try to put these labels on them, but they can actually see who the terrorists are, who are actually blowing people up and dragging mutilated bodies around. Now, this is not. There's a whole story behind that, people. What happened on October 7th over in Israel? I do believe that to some degree that should have been stopped earlier and could have been stopped earlier. So there's another side to this, because there's no way that 7 hours took them 7 hours to respond to that, and Israel has the most secure border in the world. So there is something. Oh, please smash that like. There's 961 watching and only 220 likes. People, smash the like. We'll get this stream over 1,000 right now. Okay, but I just, people see who the real terrorists are. And it's not J6ers who went to a protest and were entrapped by federal law enforcement. That's not the real problem, okay? The real problem is these people who actually view the attacks on Israel as something to be lauded, something that's actually good, okay? That's what people see. So I think it's working against them that way. The other thing, as we go forward and march forward towards the election, it is on us to tell everyone we know to get out and vote, to educate everyone we know, to ask them the penetrating questions, to ask them if they're better off than they were 4 years ago, people. Okay, it is on us to do that. And it is on us, 100% solely on us, to get involved locally. And it's on us to support the parallel economy. Mike Lindell, look, you get this pillow free with promo code Lumberjack right now at mypillow.com. It is automatically added to your cart. It is the With God, All Things Are Possible travel pillow. These are my favorite product from MyPillow. Well, the Giza sheets, the towels, I don't know. But I just love these because I carry with me on my hunting and trips to the boundary waters, my hunting trips and so on. And they just roll up into this little ball. I stick them in my pack. They weigh next to nothing. I never used to take pillows on my my trips to the boundary waters because I thought they were kind of for gimps, people, for gimps. But it's nice. It's got the Bible verse from Matthew, with God, all things are possible, folks. And we need that in our nation right now. So you can go get that. I just got the down comforter. I shared that on a stream last night, but I'll show you. Oh, I gotta start using it. But I got one of these down comforters. These will ship for free with promo code Lumberjack right now over at mypillow.com. Promo code Lumberjack. I love you all. Keep fighting the good fight, people. We are winning. They do have a plan. I believe that they haven't thought out the end results of everything they're doing well enough, and I believe in the end we win. But please, for the love of all things holy, oh gosh, Lord, help us. Get everyone you can to the polls. Vote, vote, vote. And you're going to have to vote a straight Republican ticket. You might have to hold your nose to vote for some of them, but do it because Trump needs every bit of support he can get. I love y'all. Peace out.